Hello, Miss Linda.
We're saying hi. We are saying hi.
Hi, Erik.
Erik. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. I'm back again. He's saying I'm back again.
That's true, because we just had a Q&A with Pamela and you this morning.
Yeah, I popped in on that for a couple minutes. I couldn't stay, but I popped in for a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah, they're fun. But people keep breaking rules, but that's, whatever.
Well, see, you got to pick just the people that are going with the rules.
Exactly. So anyway, I've been, of course, a member of Gaia now. I just love it. I'm totally into some of their series, like Cosmic Disclosure, Disclosure, and Ancient Civilizations, a bunch of stuff. So I watched this one episode of one of these series, I can't remember, about so much that we don't know about our solar system. Erik, do you know more than we do? Probably.
Oh, Mom, he says, it is so big, so big. He's really pushing those words, so big, so big. There is no end. He's saying there is no
universe or solar system. What are we talking about?
Huh?
Are you talking about the solar system, or you're probably talking about the universe, right?
I don't know. I think he's talking about the solar system. I don't know what the difference is myself, personally. So let's see what he says. What is he telling us about the solar system? The solar system that goes around the Earth?
Right. All the planets going around the sun, rather.
Yeah, that solar system.
Yes.
Okay, so why is it so big in comparison to the universe? Okay, so he's kind of like saying to me, well, we have our own little thing going here in this solar system. Okay, as you point out. Okay, so he's showing me that he's showing me the difference between the universe and the solar system. In the solar system, he's showing me like granulated coffee, like a piece of granulated coffee. And I'm assuming that's the metaphor for saying that we are so much smaller than we realize that we are. And when you compare us with the universe, we're no bigger than a coffee grain. Grain. I'm assuming that's why he's showing me a coffee grain. And he's going, yes. And he's telling me it's balance, Mom. It's all balance.
Okay. Oh, I think I have some notes in here. Hang on.
Yeah, we need the notes. You need to ask me questions.
I know. Okay. Just remember that I scribbled them out while I was watching. I didn't type them up. Bad girl.
Bad. He goes, Mom, you're bad to the bone.
Here we go. I really do. Okay, so between Jupiter and Mars, there's an asteroid belt. And some scientists think that there was a planet there that was destroyed, and the inhabitants on that planet, just before it was destroyed, escaped to Earth. Now, what's interesting is that Xenon 129 peaks there, and it doesn't with any of the other planets, and that is a weapons signature. So it's like it was destroyed by some intergalactic war between alien races. Is any of that true?
Wow, okay. I don't know what this thing is that you're pointing out, neon, what did you call
it? Xenon 129, some radioactive thing.
Xenon 129. And that's something, is it like just floating there still?
Well, it's just there's just a crushed up planet there that's in an orbit between Jupiter's orbit and Mars orbit.
Okay, so like the question is, Erik, what was once there, or what was that at one time, and how did it get destroyed, and how did it get destroyed? He says you got a pretty good picture of it, meaning that there was a galactic war that went on in that area. So I'm asking, what about the people that lived there? Where did they go? Where did they go?
Well, who were they? What alien race were they? And what alien race destroyed them? Were they? I mean, what star system were they from? You can say.
I don't know why, but I keep getting nebulous. What is nebulous?
Okay, I don't know.
Nebulous.
That's okay. We don't need to concentrate too much on names. Okay, so they escaped. Did they escape to Earth, or did they just all get killed when the planet destroyed?
He's just going.
Okay. And where were the enemies from?
He's making me feel like they were protectors, almost as though this particular place was going to cause harm to our solar system, and therefore had to be eradicated.
Okay.
So that he's using the word protectors. So we were being protected. That's how he makes me feel. We are being protected.
Are they Pleiadians? Were they Pleiadians? Were they from Arcturus or Sirian or I don't know, Andromeda?
He's saying there was a collection.
Oh,
a collective, something collective.
so a bunch of alien races together.
Yeah, it was a collective, and he's also using the word guardians. Our guardians, they're universal guardians that are a collective that protects Earth and its solar system.
Wow. Okay, so
yeah, he makes me feel like this particular thing that you're talking about was there to cause some type of destruction or, wow, hang on. Okay, so he's also saying weakness. It was putting a weakness into our system and could have easily, almost like it was trying to throw us out of balance, in which case if it threw us out of balance, it could be destructive to not only just to Earth and our own solar system, but also to the universe.
I've heard of that. That sounds very familiar.
Bigger than just our solar system. And he's saying, Mom, what everybody has to understand is that when anything happens on a universal level or on a individual level, meaning our own individual solar systems, and he's also saying there's so many different solar systems that when anything happens to one, it affects the balance of the universe. So it's kind of like he's saying it's kind of like what's going on now in United States with the imbalance that we're having right now with all of the riots and everything that's going on is causing a great imbalance on what's happening here on our planet Earth. So same happens when something is thrown out of whack on a universal level. Okay,
well, let's go on. I got a lot of questions, Erik, so I got to keep them a little bit short. Okay, so apparently this happened like anywhere from 300,000 to 1 million years ago. That they were on Mars. That some race was on Mars. And then there's evidence that 2 explosions happened on Mars. Kind of like H-bomb explosions. Maybe that's where the Xenon 129 was. But anyway.
So you're asking him if that's
true? I mean, like 300,000 to 1 million years ago, there were 2 H-bomb type explosions on Mars because of some weapon. Was there something going on the surface of Mars as well?
Let's see what he's saying. There was a battle, definitely a battle on Mars. He's not agreeing with the H-bomb for some reason.
Well, kind of like, what was it? What kind of explosions? There's evidence apparently of many miles wide, you know, like not
the
craters, but it was more like some sort of explosion. And I think maybe that's like my notes was where they picked up the Xenon 129, the weapon signature.
Yeah.
Is that true?
He's not really showing me anything. Why don't you show me?
Maybe we're not supposed to know.
I don't know. It's not like he's just kind of like.
Come on, Erik. Was there a battle on Mars? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
Around that time.
Yes, there was a battle on Mars. There was a race on Mars. He makes me feel like the battle that was on Mars was it was an invasion, and there was a battle, and they did leave.
Did they leave to Earth?
He's saying no.
Were the inhabitants of Mars, were they good or bad?
In Mars?
Yeah, were they pro or against us? The one on Mars, the inhabitants of Mars.
It makes me feel like they were not against us.
Okay.
They didn't want to cause Mars didn't want to cause Earth any damage. Yet he makes it feel like Mars was attacked by other planets, but not an earthly planet. And he's also telling me to tell you that many of the people that lived alive in that time, they are now on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they have incarnated into an earthly life after the destruction, right after the after the destruction of the vessels, basically is what he's saying. Many of them that lost their, what you want to call lives at that time, have incarnated and are now with us. He's also telling me to tell you that many of those are what we call today, in today's new age, light workers.
Oh, interesting. So were the bad ones in that were part of the war against us, were they reptilians, or some of them at least? Or insectians, or?
Yes.
But to both? Reptilians or insectians?
Insectians, and I don't know what that is. I've never heard that expression before.
I barely know. Okay. So apparently there's evidence of 3 types of aliens inside mountains and the oceans and seas.
Yeah.
They're like ocean bases.
And inner Earth as well.
Yeah. They apparently they're suggested that they still control Earth, and it's linked to Mars and the Zeta Reticula 1 and 2 and Sirius. Is that true?
I would have to say yes, because he's showing me links running from one to the other.
Okay. Did they seed Earth with human type? Is that why a lot of these sightings of aliens, they look humanoid, but 2 feet, 2 eyes, nose, etc.? Is that because they created us humans?
He's telling me to tell you that it's all, yes, part of the evolution of a human being.
Okay.
Yes, part of the evolution of the human being.
Um,
He's saying that we came from many of that.
Okay.
In our evolution, and we have evolved to where we are now. And I think you and I touched on this in one of the other ones, or one of the things where the new species were going into another change again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But the ones that are controlling the Earth, I get this sense that they're controlling it in a positive way, so they won't get ourselves into trouble. Is that true?
He's saying both. You have the negative and the positive.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now these alien abductions, it's because they want our DNA. Are they still trying to get us to evolve genetically?
He's saying yes.
Okay, did they use ape DNA, change it a little bit, like they put in chromosome 2, whatever, and then replace it and place it into an ape womb to start creating humans? Was that one of their tactics?
Show me. I'm getting a no. I'm getting a
Okay.
no. No.
Well, let's talk about the progenitor race. Now, these are really, really very ancient aliens, which means they're very evolved, that, um, you know, helped create us, the progenitor race, the race that we're linked to as humans.
Any question?
Are they tell me about them. Are they the Anunnaki? I mean, who are they? And do they have our best interest in heart as far as this big plan that they've engaged in to
And
create?
he says, Mom, we all are connected to the Anunnaki.
Oh, okay.
We are by bloodline connected to the Anunnaki.
Okay.
The Anunnaki are responsible for us. He almost makes me feel like the apes, okay, were not how you just described it as being impregnated with a human, but they were some of the evolution of the human race. In other words, okay, we created this, now how do we perfect this?
I
And
see.
almost like he's showing me the evolution that we see. We see them starting, you see those scales where
Oh, yeah.
ape and the monkey, and it gets goes, kind of like that, Mom. It's like that. That's how we as humans today's humans have evolved. And they have evolved because of the interference or interjection or creativeness, whatever you want to call it, of that bloodline, the Anunnaki.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to Saturn. Saturn apparently moved farther and farther away and developed bigger atmosphere, increase in weather, increase electrical charges, uh, which caused um, which was like Earth a bit, but now it has this huge energy force. Is that true? That it did move away, develop a bigger atmosphere, more weather, and then
Yes.
I'm going to tell you why I'm asking that.
He says yes, that's true.
Okay, Iapetus is a moon orbiting Saturn, and some think it's actually an artificial planet. There's this rim right around the circumference that actually makes a dodecahedron. It is like 6 miles high. Is that where the progenitor race operated? Was that a base for the progenitor race, at least in part?
He's saying yes, and actually he's showing me that the rim that is around Saturn, there's life form on even now today.
Oh, wow. What kind?
Um, and I have seen this in my readings, in some of my readings when people wanted galactic readings, they show me that. And it's kind of like it's a winged being,
Okay.
okay? And their purpose there is balance, keeping the ring around Saturn balanced.
Oh, okay.
It's by their movement that keeps that balance. If that were to go off balance, that would throw off the whole universe.
Oh, that's not good.
No, that's
Okay.
not good. And
Uh,
that life form is still there, he's saying.
that is cool. Or like blue avians?
Kind of like that. Yeah, that's kind of what the picture that I get.
Interesting. Is our moon artificial?
He's laughing. The sun, the moon, He's just kind of like singing a song. The sun and the moon. Utopia. Why is he bringing utopia into it? Utopia, he's saying. A sense of utopia. It just, is it yes or no? Is it real or is it not real? He says it's real.
Okay, so was the moon artificially created to be a utopia? Is that what you're talking about?
Okay, he's making me feel like what the moon does is it presents utopia.
What does that mean?
In other words, it puts us into a state of utopia as human beings.
Oh, okay.
Okay, of allowing, allowing all things to come forth that need to come forth. We stay in utopia because of the moon. The moon is what, and the moon phases. The moon phases. Yes. It really works with our psyche.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. So the energy affects us.
Yes, the energy of the moon affects us, and it keeps us in a state of, why he's saying this, but a state of utopia. In other words, almost like it puts us in a sense of accepting for what we're going through, accepting that we know that there is a solution at the other end of everything that is going on.
Interesting.
That kind of utopia. It's almost like when you wake up in the morning, there's a huge battle in your household, and you know you just got to keep your mouth shut because it's going to work its way out.
I gotcha. So what alien race or races created the moon and the artificial Saturn moon, Iapetus?
They weren't created, he says. They've always been.
Okay, but apparently they're artificial, I'll say. Somebody's got to have made them if they're artificial.
Well, some people believe that everything out in the universe is artificial and it's nothing more than a hologram.
Yeah.
He's saying this is not a hologram.
Okay. But that rim, I mean, it looks so man-made or being made. It's got to be.
If the rim is what keeps us in balance, is what he's saying.
All right.
So that can't be man-made.
Not a natural. I don't think it's a natural formation. It certainly doesn't look like it. A perfect dodecahedron. And if you look at the pole, one of the poles of Saturn, there is a dodecahedron there too. So that's strange.
What is a dodecahedron?
It's a 12-sided figure.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Like an octagon, but
yeah. But again, Mom, he says when you realize it, that's what Earth is. All Earth is sacred geometry. Everything is started.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the visible dodecahedron, and the rim, which is also a dodecahedron, I don't know how.
I don't either.
What is the significance of that?
Again, he just keeps going back to balance.
Okay. All right. Now, there's this great galactic cycle, 25,920-year cycle, and it's divided into a golden, bronze, silver, and iron age. And that doesn't represent, technology, iron and all that. It represents a level of consciousness. Now, in the golden age in that cycle, we are 3/4 spirit, 1/4 matter. The silver were 2/3 spirit, 1/3 matter. And the bronze we're 1/2, 1/2. And the iron, which we're in, we're 1/4 spirit, 3/4 matter. First of all, is that true?
Sounds like we're going backwards.
Well, there's cycles. So there's been many of these 25,920-year cycles. Many. We are just in the current one, the current new, and I'll get to it in a second. So halfway through this 25,920-year cycle, our solar system drops below the equatorial plane of the galaxy. And that's when cataclysms happen. That's when Atlantis was wiped out, and a lot of beings died. That's when Enki, or also known as Osiris, remained to help the survivors. Now, today, we're about halfway through, and we're beginning to pass through the galactic equator, which takes takes 1 to 1.5 thousand years. So, is that true? This whole
What he's saying is we're 1/4 of the way.
No, one halfway through. Halfway through the solar system. Starts to drop below the equatorial plane of the galaxy, and that's when cataclysms have happened in these big 25.92 thousand year cycles.
Okay, so your question is,
and is that true? And in one of them, the last one, Enki or Osiris remained to help the survivors of the cataclysm that occurred when our solar system dropped below the equatorial plane.
Okay, so is it true?
Yes.
And he says yes.
Okay, what is the Galactic Federation, and are they protecting us, or and don't want to see our destruction? They don't want us to start all over again like we had to do with Atlantis and all that, with the last cataclysm, the flood and all that.
Okay, the Federation, he's saying, is a form of protection.
Okay.
He says they are here to benefit us, and he says that again they're involved with not just Earth, but they're involved with many different. They're like a collective from many different planets, okay, and life forms.
Okay.
Okay. And the main what he's saying is the main thing here, the main deal, Mom, is to protect the balance of the universe. And in order to protect the balance of the universe, we need a federation that prevents anybody from making those changes. And another thing he says that we need to bear in mind is that if and when these changes take place, okay, for which the Federation is there to protect us against, would be cataclysmic, or what's the word that you use?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Not only to us, but to the perpetrators as well.
Okay, but it could be somewhat of a natural phenomenon too, because some say, and these are people who channel, okay, that the Galactic Federation, when the solar system drops below the equatorial plane of the galaxy, they're trying to buffer the powerful solar waves that come with that, so that you try to buffer it so we can sort of adjust incrementally. And so we can change from duality conflict kind of consciousness to unity consciousness. What do you think about that?
It sounds like that's where we are right now.
Okay, so they're trying to help by buffering these powerful solar waves so that we can get out of the duality conflict consciousness.
Yes. That, as far as the Federation goes, that's what this is all about. They're not here to harm us in any way. Okay,
so this 25.92 thousand year cycles and the dropping of the solar system below the equatorial plane and the powerful solar waves that go along with that, is that a natural phenomena, or is it created by other entities?
He says natural.
Okay, I figured. Well, that's no fun. So they're trying to help prevent us from being totally destroyed, like in the last galactic cycle?
Yes, Mom, because they don't want to go through that again, just as you pointed out. They don't want to do that.
Yeah. Apparently, they are in contact with certain humans to help raise our consciousness level. And one is this science fiction writer, Philip K. Dick. Ooh, his name. So a lot of his writings are about this, and it's absolutely, amazing. All right. So what he says in some of his information he gets from the ETs, the Galactic Federation, the Gnostics say we are living in a fake world ruled by the demiurges, these false gods, which is probably the deep state, right? And
Yep.
and are we living in some kind of matrix? That's what he's getting from these ETs. And he has this book called Valis that is all the information he's getting from the ETs, right?
That we're living in this matrix, that this is all matrix.
And they're being ruled by the these false gods.
I'm not getting that we're living in a matrix, but I am getting that we are ruled by
The demiurge, false gods. Yeah, I get that too. I sense that. Is the demiurge is it the deep state?
yes, and it's going and he's saying to me, Mom, this goes back so far.
Yeah.
But it's coming to an end.
Oh God, thank you, Jesus. Here's something else he got from information from ETs, and he's not the only one that they've picked to give this information. They pick a lot of writers and producers and filmmakers because those are the kind of people that will get this information out there the easiest. So he also writes in his book from the ET information that they are able to bend space-time point to point, like here's space-time, point to point, and control gravity. And that's how ETs can step in from one point of the universe to another because it's not that far away when it goes bing.
Yep, he's saying yes, that's true.
Wow, that is so cool. I want to do that.
It's kind of like he says, you've heard the expression bending of time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or and you've also heard of like wormholes.
Yeah.
And you portals. That's basically all bending of time.
Yeah, and controlling gravity. Will we have that technology eventually?
Yes, he says
not
absolutely.
A
Yes.
long time, probably.
Yes.
What, thousands of years or?
No, it'll come before then. What is he saying? Yeah, he's saying within the next 80 years. So when you and I come back, we'll be able to come back that way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. So he died, Philip K. Dick, in a very mysterious way. Was he killed by the government, governments, deep state? There's more than just one. There's deep state all over the place.
Yeah, he goes. We want to blame deep state for everything, and his answer to that is yes. His death was untimely, is what he's saying. Although what he's saying, yes, his death was untimely. So I'm saying, well, if it's untimely, was it an exit point? And he goes, no, that's why I say it was untimely. Okay.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he says
Killed by the false gods, the demiurge, that kind of thing. They don't want the information to come out there to raise our consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. They're doing everything that they can, Mom, to keep us, in what's the word?
In under their thumb.
Under their thumb, keep us asleep, keep us, but more, he says more, how, when we come here, we're in what's the word?
In a coma.
Yeah, we don't remember anything.
Spiritual amnesia, yeah.
Yes, okay, amnesia. But he's saying these new generations, and he says that, Mom, there's more light workers on the earth today, meaning people, he says, light work is a very broad word, but you know what we're talking about. Yeah. There are more people that are awake on earth today than in any other generation since Atlantis, he's saying.
Yeah, wow. All right, so there's this alien ship called the Black Knight that's orbiting, it's seriously huge, orbiting around one of our poles. I don't know. And apparently astronaut Gordon Cooper saw it. And it's apparently over 100,000 years old. It's recording information about Earth, and it beamed that information to Philip K. Dick, and who then wrote it in his books. Apparently, it's beaming info to other humans too. Like I said, filmmakers, writers, scientists, physicists, engineering. But it's weakening. It's been around so long that it's no longer beaming that information to the alien race that created it. Is that true?
Yes, and he's saying that the earthly beings, the people that are here, and he's also pointing out how much that filmmaking has.
Well, yeah, like Star Wars.
Right,
Apparently, Gene
right,
Roddenberry.
exactly. And there's so many,
Yeah.
and he says, in all aspects of filmmaking, cartoons, and everything, has been telling the story even before the story unfolds.
Oh,
So it's all been laid out and pre-planned. Just hang on. He goes, just like the human life is before it comes with exit points. It comes with all those things that you want to experience. So is Earth. Earth is a living being as well, and so is Earth. So a lot of the stuff that's happening now has been channeled to those for the sense of what he's saying, predictions,
yeah,
right?
right.
Of what is to come and what Earth is eventually going to turn into.
Okay. They say that Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, no, Star
Wars.
no, I think Star Trek. Well, anyway, he's one of the people receiving ET information, apparently. So is the government or are governments keeping tabs on those people like Philip K. Dick who are receiving this information and whatever information they're getting?
He's saying, Mom, not so much what you guys call the white hats
Oh,
as
okay.
the black hats.
Yeah.
Because they are the ones that want to keep us in the dark. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. And that's why he says that's why there's so much death. He's saying that's why there's so much death, just like in the field of medication and naturalists and all of that kind of stuff. That's who's taking these people out, because they're going to interfere with their plans. Oh, come on.
it's okay.
You hear them?
Yeah, it's not very loud. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. He says it's just like them. They don't want anybody to know what they're doing. And the more and more stuff that people come out with and channel and bring to light, they become dangerous to them.
Okay. All right.
And
So
if they can't kill them, if they don't kill them, they discredit them.
yeah, well, that's true. So what are these false gods / demiurge? Who are they specifically? Not individual names, but
No, it's a whole race. It's the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are descendants of this race.
Bill Gates apparently is related to one of those families. So
Yeah, and his wife too, Melinda.
yeah.
And all of this is coming to a head because of the amount of life that's on the earth today. And this is for the first time in this cycle, he's calling it a cycle, in this cycle that they have been jeopardized, that they're being disclosed, that we're finding out and realizing exactly how much control they have had over us.
Well, sunshine is the best disinfectant, isn't it? So is George Soros one of those demiurge, the false gods too?
Yeah, he's from that bloodline, is what Erik is saying.
Reptilians?
Yes.
Okay, the blue bloods. That's where royalty blue blood came from, because a lot of monarchies and descended from the reptilian race. Oh, that's awful. What about the media? Are there the heads of the media chains? Are they reptilian?
There, some of them are, but more than that is that in this generation, they just have dirt on them that keeps them in control.
Okay. Oh, ooh. All right. So apparently there's a secret group that was formed after World War I that channeled aliens, and Maria Orsic was one of the members of that group. The group was called VRIL. She channeled this being from a star system called can't read my writing, Abdesbara. I don't know. I can't read. And she, in a trance, wrote in Sumerian, the language of Sumerian, about this new spacecraft that had been drawn by VRIL. It made anyway. She even had specs, the entire drawings of this particular craft, and everything, and labels in Sanskrit. It was crazy. So one of the Nazis, Rudolf Hess, who tried to use it to, she gave it to him, and he tried to use it to advance himself in the Nazi party. And all this technology apparently went to the Germans, the Nazis, and that's why apparently their technology of World War II was so much more advanced, beyond those of the technology of the Allies.
Exactly. He says yes.
Okay, now, all right, let's go to Antarctica. Did the Germans during World War II get all this information from the channeler Orsic to build a UFO? Well, it's not a UFO. This spacecraft called the Bell, and then create a base in Antarctica to develop it further?
Yes, he says.
And they use apparently mercury. If you put it in a vortex, spin it, it creates a anti-gravitational field. And so that's why these things spin, I guess. So apparently they had a lot of mercury shipped to Antarctica. And then
trying to create the same thing that from her designs, flying saucers.
Yeah. And then Admiral Byrd witnessed some of these flying saucers flying, and he reported that he left, or maybe he was killed, I don't know. But anyway, he says,
he says, Mom, the US has them now too.
Okay. Anyway, so apparently these flying saucers, Admiral Byrd said, you could go from pole to pole in seconds or minutes. I can't remember what he said. And it was quite alarming to him, because he also, I think he witnessed evidence of weapons being shot out of these flying saucers, this Bell. Is that true?
He's saying yes, but the ones that were being shot out were non-lethal weapons.
Okay.
It was kind of like them practicing with a new craft.
Okay.
He says, much like what we did with the atom bomb.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We had one was called Little Boy, the other one was called Big Boy or Big Belly or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, the Little Boy was non-lethal, right?
Well, not as much. Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the same thing, that's what was happening with that.
Okay. What were their intentions developing these flying saucers?
Control, Mom. Control. Whoever can control Earth has everything that they need or could ever want in life. Control. So everything boils down to wanting the wealth. It's all about money. It's all about control. It's all about turning humans into minions. We've gained too much knowledge, too much understanding as humans, far more than they ever thought that we would. And they don't like that. They
Yeah,
don't like.
interesting, because I read also that Adolf Hitler was actually the son of like somebody from those families, Rothschild or Rockefellers, and then he was shipped off to Germany and given to another couple or something like that. So
Yes.
he's probably was a reptilian as well.
Yes. Eric says yes.
All right, so we had this thing called Operation Paperclip, where the United States imported, after the war, German scientists, and one of them became the director of NASA. Interesting.
Yes.
Did they gather further research from us, the scientists, so that they could fly to the moon and to Mars, specifically to refit and reoccupy old alien bases on those two things?
He's saying that was their ultimate goal, but it was not achieved.
Oh, okay. So, when you look at some areas of the moon and Mars, it looks like there's organized structures on both. Are those old alien bases?
He's laughing at me because I think he makes me feel like they're not. Yeah, they're old, they're ancient, but they're not empty.
Ooh, wow. So there are still beings inhabiting those two places, right?
Yes, and he's also making me feel like we as Earthlings also are there.
Really?
Yes.
Are they Germans? Well, no, you told that it was them, that we weren't able to achieve that, to occupy these or retrofit or reoccupy old alien bases. So what Earthlings are they?
They're us. They're from Earth. There's many countries, he's saying. There's many countries that are involved in it.
Whoa,
But the
interesting.
structures that you see are old, but they're active.
Okay. What's the purpose of these bases? Like, on maybe it's different for the moon, that's compared to Mars, but what are they doing there?
It's almost like a secret society in the sense that scientific work is being done there. Um, he makes me feel like people come and go from there.
Okay, from the to and from the space station, maybe, or
Yes, that they come and go from there. How they do that, I don't know. But he makes me feel like they come and they go from there.
because they bend space time, so they can go point to point?
Mhm.
Okay, so are they there? Well, are there more than one on the moon? Or,
You mean one individual person or one
oh,
individual?
bases. Sorry,
Pardon me.
bases. Or is there more than one base on the moon?
Okay, he says yes, and he also makes me feel like it's almost like a race going on there. Meaning, I don't know if they're producing a new race or if they're talking about a race, run a race. What are you talking about?
What are they saying, Eric? Maybe both. There's a race to make a new race. Is that it?
That's what I'm asking him. Is that what they're doing? Are they creating a new race? He says yes, in a sense they're creating a new race, but he also makes me feel like many different countries are there, and they're not always working cohesively.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where the second race comes in.
Yeah, competing. So
Yeah, they're
there's
competing.
one base occupied by one country, another by a maybe different alien race, and one is by another. Is that what you're talking about?
He makes me feel like a lot of it is like psychological stuff going on there
What do you mean?
with the human brain, psychological. Um, Learning how to rewire a brain, how to
Okay. That's
um,
science that they're, yeah.
yeah, control the human brain,
No.
how to advance the human brain or not. Has a lot to do with the DNA of the people. And not all people there, he's telling me not all people that are there are volunteers.
Are they abductees? Alien
Yes.
Okay. So are there any bases on the dark side of the moon?
He says yes.
All right, so well, the experiments, some are for good and some are nefarious. Is that okay? Ugh, well, I hope the good wins. What about Mars?
He said if we knew exactly what they were doing, meaning us as humans knew exactly what we were doing, they were doing there, we would definitely say they're all nefarious.
Oh,
That they don't really have our best interest.
oh gosh, what are there alien bases mixed with these humans? Well, I guess they're abductees, yeah. What are some of the alien races there? Are there any good ones like Pleiadians or?
He says it's not that they're bad, Mom. It's that it's just, it's not that they're so bad, any of them. And they work hand in hand. I'm not quite getting the whole gist of what.
Okay, maybe we're not supposed to know.
Yeah, exactly what is happening there, other than the fact that they are there. They may not have our best interest.
Interesting. All right, so what about Mars? How many bases are there? And who's in them?
He makes me feel like there's not a lot of bases on Mars.
Okay. Maybe one or two. Yeah, it's harder to get to for one thing, I guess.
Yeah, no, he says there's more than that, but not a lot. Not okay. So I'm hearing like 6.
Okay, so what's going on there in these bases?
Again, it's just their research.
Same stuff, right?
Yeah, same stuff.
Okay.
And he goes, a lot of the research that's going on there is far beyond what we could understand, in the sense of, they're not just studying the lives that live on Earth or in here. It's Mother Earth itself.
Whoa.
It's Mother Earth's solar system. It's other solar systems. It's more universal than what our little, he's calling us our little pea brains, can comprehend and understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of the effect that they will have will occur thousands of years from now.
Okay. So you can't tell me what their overall goal is, can you? From these bases.
It's almost like they're creators.
Okay.
Like they're creators.
Are they the progenitor race that seeded planets and the whole universe with life?
It all goes back to there. It all goes back to that one place.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
A lot of it is just futuristic things that.
Yeah,
you, Elisa, me, Linda, will not even be here in this particular lifetime.
Thank God.
All right, so you'll be here. You just
know. All right. Any other secrets you want to share about our solar system?
It is so magnificent. He said it's beyond even one's capable mind. And he just says everything has to stay in perfect balance. Everything is, and a lot of the stuff that they're doing also has a lot to do with keeping things in perfect balance.
Yeah.
One universal planet planet, meaning not just us and our solar system, but other solar systems too, get out of balance, it's
Everything gets out of
not a
that.
good, right. It's not a good thing. And they don't want us out of balance, and they don't want other universes out of balance.
Okay, because
So
like
I think a lot of these, I think a lot of what he has just explained to us has a lot to do with what's going on in these areas, like in Mars and the moon and the other place, is basically to keep the universe in balance.
Yeah, well, that's good. All right, so last but not least, thank you, Linda and Eric, and I'd love for you to share how people can get in touch with you. She does light language uploads, a bunch of stuff.
A bunch of stuff, yes, a lot of stuff, and you can just put my link, channelingbylindalee.com.
All right, sounds good. I love you guys.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Mom.
It's fascinating. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Y'all join Gaia.